Hey beauties, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. So for today's video we are going to be doing a eyeshadow collection. I am standing so it is a little bit of a different view for you beauties, but I'm going to go ahead and take my camera. We're going to pull out all my eyeshadow palettes in my collection and see what I got, how many items I have, of what brands, and all that good stuff. So if that's something you guys are interested, then just stick around and keep on watching. Okay, so I'm starting off with these palettes first just because these are like indie brands or the only ones that I have of the brand. So I guess we'll start off with this one here. This is my Lorac Pro Matte. This is the very first eyeshadow palette I ever had. I still have it. I did not know. But it's just basically a mini mattes palette. As you can tell, I did use mainly these, I think, right here. I was kind of scared of the darker shades before, but this is it. I haven't used this palette in forever, and I don't know if I would ever declutter it just because, like I said, this was the very first eyeshadow palette I had ever purchased. And it's the first high-end one, but this one's from Lorac. The next one here, I had actually purchased. Actually, a friend of mine that I had made here on Instagram, but she's no longer on Instagram, had purchased a set, but she had already had this eyeshadow palette, so she asked me if I wanted it, so I purchased it off her. This one's the Kylie, what is it? The Kylie Burgundy palette. So that's what she looks like. I know you guys have probably seen this on my channel if you're a long-time subscriber. If you're new, then you probably haven't seen me use this. But I did purchase this a couple of years back. I want to say about 2 years ago. I know eyeshadows do expire before then. This is actually a good 2 years, so it's barely now just expiring. But still, I keep holding on to my makeup because I'm a hoarder. But that's the other one. Oops. This one here is a new eyeshadow palette to my collection. This is from Zoeva. I got this in one of my BoxyCharms. This is the Opulence palette, I believe that's how it's called. And that's what she looks like. So far, I don't really like it that much, to be quite honest, just because these shades, the shimmer shades, aren't as pigmented as I would like them to be, or as bold as I would like them to be. That's definitely more of a everyday palette. And then this is the only matte shade in the palette. The rest are all shimmer. Not a big fan of that, but it is in my collection, so I will put it into some good use. If I decide that, you know, I'm not going to use it, then I'll declutter it. This next one here was gifted to me by a co-worker. She received it in her BoxyCharm. This is the Butter London, I think it's a Naturals palette, I'm not sure, but oh, there we go, Natural Goddess is what it's called, and that's what this looks like. Really pretty. I actually do like this one for everyday usage. Really cute. Then on this side over here, we have the Alomar Cosmetics Reina de Caribel palette. I know I say it funny, but that's what the palette looks like. Super pretty. Again, another palette that I did receive in BoxyCharm. If you guys are barely starting out on your makeup, BoxyCharm definitely does hand out a lot of eyeshadow palettes. They're not doing it so much so. It used to be that you would get it every month, an eyeshadow palette. Now you're getting a better variation of makeup products, but still, really, really enjoyed this palette. Super pretty. This palette right here is the, what is it? Night Angel? I think from Pretty Vulgar. Nightingale. Nightingale. Where did I get Nightingale from? This is the Nightingale palette from Pretty Vulgar, and this is what she looks like. Again, this was another one that was gifted to me by a coworker. Actually, this one's from my friend Melissa. She received it in her BoxyCharm, and she didn't think she would use it. She said it was too dark for her usage. So I have been using it, as you guys can tell. It's not one that I typically lean for, but because it is in my collection, I do put some use into it. This other one here is from Pure. We got this in a BoxyCharm as well. This is the Festival palette, and that's what she looks like. This is one of my daughter's favorites. She likes like all the shimmer and glitters, but really pretty. And now I don't let my daughter put on makeup just because she does have sensitive skin, but I do let her swatch it on me, so yeah. Really pretty. I like this palette too. The next palette here is from Juvia's Place. This is the Nubian 3 Coral palette, and that's what she looks like. Absolutely love this palette. This palette is one of my favorites. Doesn't look like I put that much use into it, but it's because I do rotate my eyeshadow palettes. But this one, if I allowed myself, would be the one that I would continuously use over and over again. I just love the coral shades, and the brown shades in here are so pretty. The pops of blues are really pretty too, but these shades here are basically my to-go-to shades. Okay, the next palette here is from Tati Beauty. This is the Value 1 palette. So far, it's the only palette she's released. I think it's the Natural Textures or something like that. Really pretty big mirror, as you guys can see, and then the rest of the palette is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love this palette. Again, another palette that I would continue to use over and over again if I allowed myself, but I do try to rotate my makeup because obviously makeup does expire. But really pretty. Absolutely love it. This one here is an eyeshadow palette that I got from Target. This was a limited edition palette, just something that you could pick up. It was really cheap, about $8 I think. Only reason I bought it because it has Mickey on it. But it's actually a really cute palette. I do put some use into it, not as much as the other palettes to be honest, but it is really good. And I say that this is actually a dupe for the Urban Decay Heat palette. I do really like it. It does blend. It works just as good as the Urban Decay Heat palette, but the only problem that I have with this one, same problem that I have with the other palette from Urban Decay, is that a lot of the looks do end up looking the same. So I only reach for this when I really want to make like an orangey look, then that's when I grab the palette. But really cute. It was, like I said, it was really affordable. It was only like $8 I think. I'm not sure. This next one here is the Pure Fusion Sultry Palette. I actually do like this palette, and this palette is currently in my makeup drawer along with the Opulence palette. I do like most of the shades that are on here. Some of them don't work that good. It's a little bit of a dud, but the majority of the shades in this palette do work, and they're really pretty, really pigmented. But love this palette. I forgot. I think it was $10. I'm not entirely sure, but I ordered it on their website. Really pretty. This one here is one that we recently got in our BoxyCharm for March, I think. And here is the eyeshadow palette. I think it's so cute. I love the packaging. I love that it says Hello Charmer and then the BoxyCharm logo there. This is what the eyeshadows look like. I did use it just the one time, but I'm not a huge fan of it just because there's not really... These are more like satin eyeshadows instead of mattes. And I do like to have some mattes. I do like to have some glimmers, some shimmers, you know, and all that. But this one, yeah, they're all kind of shiny, so not a big fan, but it is pretty. Do like it. Okay, for this section, I only have two. These are both from Ace Beauty. Both I received in my BoxyCharm. This is the Grandos palette, which looks like this, really pretty. I don't know if you guys remember receiving this, if you guys are charmers as well. This one's actually really pigmented, really pretty. I do like it. Actually, they both are. This one is the Scarlet Dust palette, also very pretty. Look at that, isn't it gorgeous? I do have a video here on my channel using this palette. If you guys wanted to check it out, I'll leave it somewhere for you guys to look at. But really pretty. Absolutely love this palette as well. These are like my drugstore, I guess, eyeshadow palettes. These are all e.l.f. ones. These are the e.l.f. bite size. I did buy every single one of them to do a review here on my channel. I do like the majority of them. Some of them I don't like the way their shimmers work or the way the mattes work. Like this one, the greens aren't, they're very patchy. Same thing with the blue, but the shimmers work really well. I didn't really like the shimmer from this one. I can work with it, but I'm just used to using better shimmers. This palette, however, I did talk about this on my channel. This is the e.l.f. Chocolate Hues or something like that palette. I don't quite remember what it's called, but this one's really pretty. All the shadows so far, or actually I've used every single one of them, so all the shadows in this palette are amazing. I absolutely love this palette, and I got it for $5. Its original price is $10. Then I also do have these two Wet n Wild ones. This one here is the Not So Basic Peach palette. I've had these for a while and I don't typically reach for them, as you guys can see. I have used them. Obviously, I did put use into them. They're just not ones that I typically go for. I feel like because they get lost in my makeup drawer, that's why I did move stuff around. Maybe I should probably pick these two out for my weekly makeup drawer in my next shop my stash that I'll be filming tomorrow. But here's the other one. This one is Rose in the Air. And that's what she looks like. Super pretty. Absolutely love it. Then the last little one that we have here is from e.l.f. as well. This is a Peach Quad. I haven't used this one. I think I've only swatched it. This I got as a free gift from e.l.f. When you shop online and you spend a certain amount, you get free gifts. And this was one of the options, so I got this one. Okay, these two are the only two palettes that I do have from BH Cosmetics. The first one here I have is the Take Me to Brazil palette. This was the original one that came out. I love the packaging. It's really pretty. It's supposed to be like El Carnaval, you know? And then inside it's just a colorful eyeshadow palette. I don't think this one's available anymore. They discontinued it and replaced it with the Take Me Back to Brazil, which is an all black packaging, I think, and still kind of colorful. But it's an all colorful eyeshadow palette as well. Really pretty. These are not the most pigmented, but they definitely do the job. They're really easy to build up. I really do like this palette. I've had this one for a while too. As you can tell, my daughter also dipped her fingers into it, so if it's messy in certain areas, that is why. It's because I'm a baby. But yeah, really pretty palette. I'm happy I have it in my collection. This next one here was a limited edition palette. This is the Carly Bible Duplex edition. I didn't get a chance of picking up the first one, but I did see it. My sister-in-law has it, and I decided to go ahead and get this one. This one I really enjoy. As you can tell, it also has a pretty decent sized mirror there, and here on the bottom it says aspire to inspire. And then this is what the palette looks like. As you can see, this top part here is all eyeshadows, and then this here are highlights. This is the shade that convinced me to buy this eyeshadow palette. It's just really pretty. I do put a lot of use into this eyeshadow palette. I don't know if you guys can tell. This one was one that I consistently did reach for. I'm pretty sure on this one and this one I'm about to hit pan on any time now. This one too. Those are my favorite ones to go to, but like I said, I try to do a good job in rotating my eyeshadow palettes. Okay, this next set here are my Tarte eyeshadow palettes. This one here, I think it's the first one I ever purchased from Tarte, and you guys are going to think it's stupid, but the only reason why I purchased this was because of the packaging. It says she dreamed, she believed, and she succeeded. I thought it was so pretty. The actual packaging itself, for me, it's a little bulky, but it is such pretty. I wanted to have pretty makeup items to display. So before I have the way my makeup room is now, I did have this eyeshadow palette on display. And this is what the inside looks like. See, I did use it. Not to say that I didn't. I did use it. Since I didn't really have too many like shades, I did use the blush as an eyeshadow as well as blush. But as you can see, like this one's getting ready to hit pan as well. So is this brown one. So I did use this eyeshadow palette. It's really pretty. Do like it. Don't put too much use into it now. But back in the day, this was one of the eyeshadow palettes I would consistently reach for. The next purchase was this one. This is the Tarteist Pro Palette. And that's what she looks like. She does have a huge mirror, as you guys can see, but that's what the eyeshadow palette looks like. I thought I would use this more than I actually do. The formulation from Tarte is a little bit drier in this eyeshadow palette than I would have liked. Again, though, when I purchased this, I was still kind of getting into makeup and exploring. There were some shades, obviously, as you can tell, that were my more go-to shades, but overall, this palette is beautiful, and it smells good. All Tarte shadow palettes, to me, smell like vanilla. But really pretty. Do like it a lot as well. It's just not consistently used like my other eyeshadow palettes. I need to put more use into this one. This one here is, I think it was a limited edition. This is from Tarte, and this is their Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3 eyeshadow palette. And this is what she looks like. Now, there was different variations. I did receive this one in my BoxyCharm. There was like a pink one. This is, I think, the gold one, and I think You know what, I don't remember what the other one was, but there was different ones. Each one had different packaging like this. But this is the one that I received. Super pretty. I actually do like this one. I like using this one when I'm really like pressed for time, because one of these shades, just with that alone, is perfection. But yeah, really like this eyeshadow palette, and these are the eyeshadow palettes that I have from Tarte. Okay, this next group are my Dose of Colors, and believe this one's actually the first one I received from Dose of Colors. This is the Dose of Colors Mickey Mouse palette, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't have a name on here, but basically, yes, it's the Mickey Mouse palette. This was a limited edition eyeshadow palette in collaboration with Disney, obviously. And then that's what she looks like. Oh my god, I die for this palette. So pretty. Can we just appreciate this palette? I want to take you guys in. If you see like the border of this palette, it has little Mickeys. Come on, focus. Do you see it? It has little Mickeys all over the rim. So pretty. And then as you guys can see, the little detail there on the highlight here has a Mickey Mouse as well. And then the shades in this eyeshadow palette are so cute. The little, oh, let the show begin, hug me, hooray. Then there's, oh boy. M is for Mischief, All Shucks, and Beyond Classic. The All Shucks is one of my favorite names in this palette, just because if you grew up watching Disney, if you grew up watching Mickey Mouse, then you know that this one and this one are two phrases that Mickey Mouse would always say. But yeah, one of my favorite palettes. I do like to use it more so in the fall time. I don't know why, probably just because, you know, this is like darker shades here, but really pretty. I do like this eyeshadow palette. The next eyeshadow palette that I purchased from Dose of Colors is this one here. This is the Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. As you guys can tell, the packaging is gorgeous. I absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. And then this is what the inside looks like. This is also a limited edition eyeshadow palette. It is still available at Ulta Beauty. I'm not sure if it's available at their website, Dose of Color. Sorry, I was drawing a blank, but it is still available, and it is on sale, so I know that it's most likely not going to be available anymore. But this eyeshadow palette is super pretty, and I actually did use this eyeshadow palette to do my friend's makeup. I did 2 of their makeups, both for special occasions, but absolutely love it, and I do get a lot of compliments when I use this eyeshadow palette, so definitely worth the purchase. I do use this eyeshadow palette sparingly though, just because it is a limited edition palette. I don't feel like I need to purchase another one just because I don't think I'll finish it. I have so many eyeshadow palettes, but I don't want to finish it up either because it is limited edition, and the packaging is just so pretty. Like, can we appreciate this packaging as well? Then I have these two. This one I got in a BoxyCharm. This is the Marvelous Mauves from Dose of Colors. I have used this one. Really, really pretty. I actually really do like this one. It's more for everyday usage. I feel if I want to do a quick like little smoky eye, it's really just so easy because the colors blend in beautifully when you use this eyeshadow palette. That's that one. Then this one my friend actually received in her BoxyCharm, but she did not like it. This is the eyeshadow palette in Snow Angels, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I haven't used it. So I haven't touched this one, and I feel like because, well, I'm not quite sure how to use it. I do need to put some use into this. It looks like they're all kind of matte shades. I think that's the reason why I haven't touched it. There's not really transition shades and stuff like that. It's more obviously on the colorful side. You have like these kind of mauvey, purpley, pinky shades on this side, and then 2 blues. But I think I might have to pull this out for usage in one of my weekly shop my stash, so I actually use this eyeshadow palette. It's cute, I just haven't tried it yet. In this next group, these are my Colourpop eyeshadow palettes. I thought I had more, I'm pretty sure I did, but I did do a declutter where I did offer up gently used makeup to people here in my local area for free. I didn't you know, have them purchase it off me or anything. I just offered it off for free, and I gave those away to coworkers and a friend of mine. So the first one here is the Cute AF eyeshadow palette, which is really pretty. Mine did come damaged. This one was shattered in there, so I did get a replacement eyeshadow, but I ended up giving it to my sister for her birthday, because I wanted to buy her something for her birthday, but I wasn't quite sure what. We have very different tastes. But anyways, yeah, this palette is actually really pretty. I haven't put too much use into it, as you guys can tell. I felt like I used it more. This shadow's not even touched. I need to use this palette more. Now that I'm doing this, I'm kind of noticing that I'm not doing a very good job in picking eyeshadow palettes, because I haven't reached for this one either. The next one is the Street Dream eyeshadow palette, which was in collaboration with Kathleen Lights, and that's what she looks like. And now this eyeshadow palette, I know I have put use into it. Some colors more than others, but this eyeshadow palette's super pretty. Again, this was a limited edition. I don't know if I said that already, but this was a limited edition eyeshadow palette, and I believe it's already been discontinued, so you can't grab this anymore. But I am happy that this is in my collection because I do enjoy using this eyeshadow palette. It's actually been a while since I've used it, so might have to pull this out soon as well. Then we have the Sweet Talk palette. This one, as soon as I seen it, I knew that I had to have it. It's so pretty. It's perfect for spring. I believe I purchased this last year, and I did use it before, you know, summer and stuff was over. I'm going to go ahead and try to pull this out soon too, because this one I feel like it's just a beautiful summer and springtime eyeshadow palette. You could create so many pretty pinky orangey nudes, like pinky orangey looks, I meant, not nudes, but really pretty. I do like this eyeshadow palette, and I think this one is not limited edition. It's actually, it should still be available, so if you guys wanted to pick this up, you can. The last eyeshadow palette that I have from Colourpop is the Honey. This eyeshadow palette is so pretty. I absolutely love it. Yellow is actually one of my favorite colors. I didn't think I would like to wear it on my eyelids, but I do. I do occasionally pull this out for work, and you know, sometimes I feel like I want to match too much because I try to find a lipstick to match, and I don't have yellow lipsticks, obviously. But that's what she looks like. This palette is still available. Obviously, I don't use the glitters for work. I think my daughters played with it because it kind of shifted. Super pretty. Okay, these are all my Dominique Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes. The first one I purchased from the brand was this one, which was her first release. This is the Dominique Latte palette. I did keep the sleeve on this one just because I thought they were both really pretty, and I just didn't want to throw this away. I mean, that's beautiful. I love the way it looks. But this is what the eyeshadow palette looks like. As you can tell, mine's is dirty. I do try to clean it, but, you know, once it stains, it stains. And this is what the inside looks like. Super pretty. Absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. It's honestly one of my favorites. I do use this one quite a bit. This is another eyeshadow palette that I'm always drawn to. I always want to grab it and use it. I love this eyeshadow palette. Okay, the next palette that I purchased from Dominique Cosmetics is this one, the Rustic Glam palette. Super pretty. Absolutely love the packaging. I think it's gorgeous. And then when we open her up, there she is. Isn't that beautiful? Don't mind my lighting. It is late afternoon, so you'll see that in the mirrors. But beautiful palette. I love how it has the pop of colors. I also love how it has the neutrals. This color right here, absolutely stunning. Love it. Then I received this one. This is the Celestial Thunder from Dominique Cosmetics. This one I actually got in my BoxyCharm, I believe. I forgot what month of this is from, but if you guys are BoxyCharmers también, then you already know. Sorry. I speak Spanish and then I just want to keep speaking Spanish. But this eyeshadow palette I think is absolutely beautiful. Same pigmentation, same quality as the other two palettes. But this one I feel like is more of an incomplete palette. I do need to use this in combination with another palette, since most of the time I do wear makeup for work. This one isn't really work friendly. Some shades are. I could do like, you know, smoky eyes with these. Even maybe this one if I wanted to, but, you know, can't do that. But yeah, so every time I use this palette, I do have to use it with another one. So it doesn't get too much use because I do spend most of my time at work anyways. But yeah, really cute palette. This one here I recently purchased in December, and I absolutely love this palette. And I'm going to say the name of this one really slowly because I always get tongue-tied when I say it. This is the Dominique Cosmetics Sweater Weather palette. This is what the back looks like. Super cute packaging. I love how it actually looks like a sweater, and you can feel the texture of the sweater. Now if we open her up, it's an all matte palette. Super cute. I love all the colors. Perfect for everyday use. Definitely one of my favorite palettes. As you can see, I have used every single shade in this little palette, and I really like it. Really good quality. I don't think it's a limited edition, but I'm not sure. I'll double check and let you guys know in the description box below if this palette is still available, but definitely love this palette. I originally purchased it. Well, I purchased one for my friend Melissa for Christmas, but then I also wanted it too, so I purchased one for myself, and yeah, love this palette. The next one I'm not going to talk too much about because I feel like I've talked about this palette more than enough here on my channel. This is the Latte 2 palette. This is her newly released palette. I love everything about this palette. The color story on here is super beautiful. As you guys can see, I just love, like I said, I'm not going to rave about this palette any longer because you guys should know already how much I love this palette. I have several videos. I'll leave them for you guys to see on here, but beautiful palette. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, these right here are my Morphe eyeshadow palettes, and I think this one, yes, this is the 35N palette. This was one of my first eyeshadow palettes. As you can see, it's just a neutrals palette. Has a lot of browns, a lot of pinks, you know, some like nudie tones here, blacks and purples. Really simple palette. This again is one of my very first eyeshadow palettes. I purchased this when I first started doing my makeup. As you can tell, I did use a lot of them. Some of the on the monitor here aren't looking like I did dip into them, like I didn't dip into them, I mean, but I did use most of these eyeshadow palettes. Now I don't reach for this at all. I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure it's expired, but these don't come with an expiration date, so I don't really know. But I know I've had this for good 4 years maybe. But yeah, one of my first Morphe palettes that I purchased online. This next one is like a cult favorite. A lot of people do like it. I think now if you purchase it, it comes in like this packaging. But this is the original packaging from Morphe before they rebranded. This is the 35O palette, and that's what she looks like. Absolutely love this palette. As you guys can see, she has been loved pretty well. I typically do lean to using this eyeshadow palette more so when it's fall time, because there's a lot of warm, you know, orangey tones here, golds and stuff like that. Really pretty palette. I think a lot of people who obsess over makeup, like me, who are collectors and stuff like that, do have this eyeshadow palette in their collection, because I saw this on YouTube over and over again, and I was just like, I need to get it, and so I did. And she is gorgeous. I absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. Again, I haven't reached for this in a while. I know I did reach for it last summer. And then one of the top looks that I have on my Instagram was actually made with this eyeshadow palette. Really pretty. Absolutely love it. Now, if you guys haven't caught on, I am going in the order that I purchased eyeshadow palettes, so bear with me. This one here was a collaboration. Both, actually, the ones on this side are all collaborations. This was a collaboration with Morphe and Kathleen Lights. It is a limited edition palette, so it's no longer available. I won't get rid of this, even if it does expire. I'm going to continue to use it. This is what the eyeshadow palette looks like. She's super pretty. I absolutely love it. This one here is the main reason why I purchased the palette, because I was obsessed with getting greens, and I didn't realize how obsessed I was with getting greens. You're gonna hear this on a lot of the eyeshadow palettes that I do have, but this, like, let me just swatch it. See, it's still like super buttery. Isn't that beautiful? I absolutely love it. I didn't actually purchase this. My husband purchased this for me. I wanted to get it, but at the time we couldn't afford it, and then it came in the mail, and my husband gave it to me. So it was a huge surprise. I do love using this eyeshadow palette. I do pull it out from time to time and get a lot of use out of, you know, the ones you can see the indentions from, like this one. This one's a really pretty shade as well. I didn't want to swatch it because I didn't want to continue to swatch all the eyeshadow palettes, because then we'll be here forever. But that's that one. After that, I'm pretty sure I purchased this one here, which everyone should know because everyone was obsessing over this. This is the Jaclyn Hill palette times Morphe. We open her up, and this was from the first batch, so it's the original packaging. You know, it's the one that obviously, you know, gets dirty, but here's mine. I have used the majority of them on here. I haven't used it as much as other YouTubers have, clearly. I mean, mine's still pretty neat, I think, compared to the other ones. It did come with a little card, but I taped it to the back of the palette. I didn't want to, I don't know. For some reason, I didn't want to cover that up because she did leave a little message for us. And I do follow Jaclyn Hill, so I feel like that's also towards me. So I didn't want to cover it up, but super beautiful palette. Again, one of the looks I created with this eyeshadow palette is one of like the top photos that I have on Instagram. Beautiful, beautiful palette. I more lean to like the middle shades than I do the bottom or the top row, but still, beautiful palette. Absolutely love it. And then now this is a permanent eyeshadow palette with Morphe, so if I ever run out, I could get a new one. Okay, this one back here I purchased sometime last year. This is the Morphe, what is this, 35M Boss Mode palette. And this is after, of course, they rebranded, so the packaging is different from the original too. That's what this palette looks like. It did come with this plastic thingy, which I don't like. I don't like these inserts, but it came with the name. So that's why I saved them. As you can see, I taped it on there. So when I do use this palette, I just kind of lift this up this way. But then that way, if I do use this palette, I can put which shades I used. But isn't she pretty? The reason I purchased this palette, and again, like I said, was because of the greens. The greens in this palette is what drawed my eye. So like this color here, this one, that one. All these greens here that you see, I was like, yes, so beautiful. But I do like to use this palette. It's really pretty. Some of the shades I still haven't touched, as I can see here, but the other ones I have and the ones that I have are pretty amazing. And this is the same price, I think, as the original 35 shadow palettes, but that's that there. The last Morphe palette that I have is this one, and of course I think the majority of you do know this eyeshadow palette. This is the Morphe times James Charles palette, and that's what she looks like. Again, it does have the little plastic insert, and I did tape mine down. I know it's like kind of ghetto. I even taped this because I wasn't able to always grab it and lift it. So I put a little tape here so that I can actually lift this up. As you can see, this eyeshadow palette has gotten really dirty. I did use it. I actually used this to create a Halloween look last year. I was Ursula from The Little Mermaid, so that's why these are all like intensely used, because I was using face brushes. But yeah, so those are all my Morphe eyeshadow palettes. Okay, we're almost done. This is my Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes, and we're going to start with this one. This one was the first Urban Decay palette that I ever purchased. I got this because I think it was on sale. This is the Urban Decay shadow box. It comes and goes, but that's what it looks like. I got it because this was an all shimmer palette, and I didn't have shimmers. As you guys saw, the first two eyeshadow palettes that I got were all matte, so that's why I got this one. I did put some use into it, but then stopped using it as I continued to purchase palettes. But that's what she looks like. Obviously I still have it, more than likely expired, but ni modos, aquí está. I'm gonna say, so Urban Decay Naked palette, I actually had another one. This was a replacement one, but technically the Urban Decay Naked palette was gifted to me. Again, this is a replacement one, so this one's fairly new. I repurchased it once I knew that they were going to discontinue this beauty, but this is what she looks like. I think the majority of the beauty world knows of the Urban Decay Naked palette. Again, like I said, this was my second eyeshadow palette, so that's what this one looks like. Super pretty. So then I technically got these two and this one at the same time. I got them for Christmas. So I'll start with the two that my husband gave me, and then we'll move on to the other one. So this is the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. I think, again, this is like a beauty favorite as well. A lot of people like the Urban Decay Naked line. This one my husband gave me for Christmas because he knew I wanted an eyeshadow palette from Urban Decay. So he got me this one. It's really pretty. I love the gold shades in here. Again, I don't know where the brush is at. I think that's the brush I have in that I use for my brows. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Okay, yeah, but this is the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. Super pretty Naturals palette. As you guys can see, did put some use into this beauty here. Then he also gifted me this one. This, if you guys remember, is the collab with Gwen Stefani. This is the Urban Decay and Gwen Stefani eyeshadow palette, and that's what she looks like. Really pretty. I actually really like using this eyeshadow palette too. It was a limited edition, so this is no longer available. Again, I've been using this one sparingly just because it is limited edition. Once she's done, that's it. There's no more. But really pretty eyeshadow palette. As you guys can see, Gwen Stefani there in the back. Has it here as well. Super cute. I adore the packaging. Really pretty. Okay, and then this was gifted to me Christmas the same year I got the other two. This is the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. This one's more of a pinky tones, and this one I have not put that much use into, honestly. I did use it quite a bit when I first got it, and then I just completely stopped altogether. It is really pretty, really simple, everyday use. It just, too much pink for me. But really pretty. If you like the rosy tones and stuff like that, then this is an eyeshadow palette for you. Obviously all these palettes are still available, so if you guys were interested in grabbing any of these, you could. They're still available Ulta and Sephora, or on the Urban Decay website. Then a couple years later, or maybe a year or two later, I ended up receiving this one from my mom. She gave it to me for Christmas. This is the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette. I do have a video of this palette making 3 looks just using this palette and the brush. But that's what she looks like. I do like this eyeshadow palette. It kind of took over of my Lorac palette because it is an all mattes palette as well. Really pretty. I do like, I'm repeating myself, but really pretty palette. I do love it. The last palette that I purchased from Urban Decay, myself anyways, technically I've only purchased 3. This is the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. This is the one that I said that the other one's a dupe for, but that's what she looks like. Again, I only put in use to this palette when I feel like using an orange burnt shade, which normally is around the summertime or fall. So I'm coming around the season again of using it. But super pretty palette. It is very pigmented, really easy to use. This again has the same effect as the Mickey Mouse one, where almost any look that I do using this eyeshadow palette, they almost always look the same. So, reason I don't really reach for it, but it is a pretty palette. I do love the way it looks on the lid. Okay, these are all my Too Faced eyeshadow palettes. I'm going to go ahead and start with this one because this is the first one that I purchased. This is the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar. I do want to get the original chocolate bar, which I haven't yet. Don't tell my husband. But this is the first one that I purchased. At first, I didn't really get drawn to the original one. That's why I purchased this one, because I do like these. This palette, I believe, has been discontinued, so it is no longer available. Mine has been indented, so it doesn't stay closed. Like, it opens really easily. So I do put a hair tie. Sorry, I was going to say liga because I'm used to saying it in Spanish. Hair tie around it so it stays closed. But I do use it. So far, this palette does still work for me. It's really pretty. I do like it. And it still, oh, yes, still smells like chocolate. Too Faced is actually one of my favorite makeup brands. But their eyeshadow palettes don't live up to their face, like their complexion products is what I mean. But I do really like this eyeshadow palette. It's really pretty. This one I don't like. Like some other shades, like this one and this one, they're not that pigmented, but you know, the other ones are. But really pretty palette. This was the next one that I got from the Too Faced line. This is the Sweet Peach palette. This was a limited edition palette, but then in what year did it release? I don't even remember. But then it was made a permanent line, and the line got expanded because people just fell in love with it. And I understand why. My mom actually purchased this for me, I believe. I don't know if it was for Mother's Day or for something else. I just remember it was like around May that she got this for me. But it's really pretty palette. Oh, you can see my tripod there and my camera and everything else, so oh well. But really, really pretty palette. I absolutely do enjoy using this eyeshadow palette. I think I'm going to pull this out soon. No, actually, I already pulled this out. I can't. I did already pull this out and I didn't get to use it because I wasn't doing the makeup. But super cute palette. I do have a video of this palette here on my channel too in case you guys are interested. I'll leave that for you guys to check out. But really pretty. I do enjoy it. This is the next one that I purchased. This was the Too Faced Just Peachy Matte. Again, I need to realize that I don't like all shimmers and I don't like all matte palettes, but this eyeshadow palette I just thought was gorgeous, like super stunning. I absolutely love it. I do actually get some decent use out of it because it is really easy to create everyday simple looks with this eyeshadow palette. Super pretty, and this does smell amazing just like the other ones. This one's a peachy cream scent and the other one obviously smells like peaches. Last but not least, and you will see my equipment there, this is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold Palette. Super pretty. Originally, I was not going to purchase this eyeshadow palette, but I ended up getting it while it was on sale. Really pretty. I actually do like this eyeshadow palette. The only complaint that I do have is that there's a lot of shimmers and only like those mattes. It is a really pretty eyeshadow palette, and then the shimmers in these are really pretty. They're really similar to the Dominique Cosmetics shimmers. I think they are also like diamond infused. I think I read that on the packaging. Let's see before I tell you guys any lies. But I'm pretty sure I had read that. That's why it's like called the gold palette or something like that, because the shimmers are supposed to be different from the other ones. But really pretty. I actually do enjoy this eyeshadow palette. The only thing is you might have to use this. I do use this eyeshadow palette with other eyeshadow palettes just because these are not enough for me. But really pretty. I do like it. Okay, you guys, this is the last group. These are my Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palettes, and we're going to go ahead in the order again that I purchased them or received them. So this one here was my first Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palette. This is the Modern Renaissance palette. A lot of people raved and raved and raved and raved about this eyeshadow palette. It is super pretty. I actually do really like it. Again, it has a lot of the berries and like pinky tones in there along with the orangey tones. As you can tell, the orange ones are the ones I lean to most, not so much these here, which is the reason why it was so popular. But I do use this palette. I'm pretty sure that it's technically expired, but it doesn't smell funky. So far, I haven't been breaking off from it. It still works. You know, the color pigment has not changed, so I'm going to continue to use this eyeshadow palette. Really pretty. I do enjoy it. The next one that I got was the Soft Glam palette. This one I purchased myself as well. Really pretty. I would want to say that this is one of my favorites. I do use a lot of these shades here. I think this one, along with some of the others, are probably the ones that, one of the palettes that I actually reached for the most, if not, yeah. But this eyeshadow palette, along with maybe two others, I use the most out of my Anastasia ones. It's super pretty. I love the looks that I can create with this. I do like to wear my natural eyeshadow looks, and this is one of those eyeshadow palettes that I like to create those looks with. Okay, so now this one and this one were surprise gifts from my husband. I believe they were birthday gifts. I don't remember if this was it for last year. I don't remember when my husband gave me these, but they were new at the time. But this is the Norvina palette, and it's the pinky purpley one. As you guys can see, this one does get a lot of use. I thought the Soft Glam got more use, but I guess this one does. It looks a little bit more dirtier than the Soft Glam. Really pretty. I do really enjoy this eyeshadow palette, as you can see. I like to use it a lot. It's really pretty. I say they're all pretty, huh? But I do love eyeshadows. That's my favorite part about makeup, is eyeshadows. Then the Sultry Palette. This was the other palette that my husband gifted to me. Super pretty. I die for the packaging. As you guys can see, packaging for me is everything. This eyeshadow palette, I'm getting tongue twisted again, is super pretty as well. See, I used the Norvina one more. because for some reason I was thinking this one and the Soft Glam were the ones that I use the most, but looking at them now side by side, the Norvina one I've used a lot more, but this one I also like to use a lot. Again, I can make some really pretty everyday looks even with this color over here. Gorgeous looks that come out of this eyeshadow palette. This was a limited edition, unfortunately, so unless you find it, because I don't think they sell it at Ulta or Sephora anymore, so unless you find it like at TJ Maxx, because I know they do sell some Anastasia palettes there when they have been discontinued, you most likely can't receive this anymore, and I don't know if they'll bring this back. I think this was part of a holiday release, so really pretty. I do enjoy this eyeshadow palette. Okay, this eyeshadow palette I absolutely die for. It's so beautiful. My friend Melissa actually gifted this one to me. This is the Jackie Aina palette. It is so pretty, so pretty. I have used every single shade in this eyeshadow palette, even though it doesn't look like I have it. Like I have, I think like this one on the camera here, it doesn't show that I've dug into these two, but I have. Really pretty. Definitely, I would say one of their best eyeshadow palettes, if not the best. Absolutely gorgeous. I think this one is still available. I don't remember if it was on sale or not, but I know recently Anastasia had a sale on their site. So I would go check that out before this one goes, because most collaboration palettes are limited edition. Okay, next is this one. This is my Alyssa Edwards eyeshadow palette. This one I recently just purchased. Actually, my husband bought it for me. I was going to buy it for myself, but I was short on money, and he supplied the rest. Or paid it all. This one here I got at TJ Maxx. I did create a pretty good look with this one. Like I said, I just purchased it, so I haven't really gotten able to use it. This is an eyeshadow palette that does speak to me because of all the colors. Lately I've been really into creating a lot of bold looks. If you hear noise in the background, it's because my daughter has recently joined me and she doesn't know how to keep quiet. So again, mommy life. But did you fart? Barely. That's in my video. Cochina. Oh my god. I am sorry for the passing of the gas from my daughter. But again, this is the Alyssa Edwards palette. I did buy this at TJ Maxx. Like I said, most of the collaboration palettes are discontinued at some point, so when they start going at TJ Maxx, it's because they are going to be discontinued. Super pretty. I do want to continue to use this palette because it is gorgeous. Okay, and this one is the last palette, and it is the largest palette from the whole collection that I have here. This is the Amazing and obviously ABH palette, and that's what she looks like. I'm sure most of you already know what this eyeshadow palette looks like already, because a lot of people have been raving and talking about it. To be honest, I feel like it looked prettier in images than I did in person. This eyeshadow palette does not speak to me as much as I was hoping it would. It is really pretty. I am happy that I have it in my collection, but I probably could have done without this eyeshadow palette, seeing as I have so many. But she is gorgeous. I do love the packaging. Very pretty, super pigmented. Works just as well as the other ones. I don't know what else to say other than I like them. Alright beauties, that's basically it. That's all of my eyeshadow palettes for you in my collection. I have about 66 eyeshadow palettes, and my collection continues to grow because this is the item that I like to use the most. If you guys truly like this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I do post twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and that's basically it. Until next time, bye!